My name's Emmy Speens, and welcome to another review or something. Sorry if you hear crunching in the background, that is my dog. I know it's kind of unprofessional to not move her to another room, but I'm also not gonna replace this squeaky chair, so what's the point? And today we're gonna be talking about LEECH, a great debut novel by the author Hiran Enes. Please don't be mad if I said that wrong. It's Google's fault. This is going to be a spoiler-free book review as much as I can make it, in that I won't spoil anything that you can't find out on the book sleeve. Okay, here is the book sleeve cover. Synopsis. Shut up. In an isolated chateau, as far north as north goes, the Baron's doctor has died. The doctor's replacement has a mystery to solve, discovering how the Institute lost track of one of its many bodies. For hundreds of years, the Interprovincial Medical Institute has grown by taking root in young minds and shaping them into doctors, replacing every human practitioner of medicine. The Institute is here to help humanity, to cure and to cut, to cradle and protect the species from the apocalyptic horrors their ancestors unleashed. In the frozen north, the Institute's bodies will discover a competitor for its rung at the top of the evolutionary ladder. A parasite is spreading through the Baron's castle, already a dark pit of secrets, lies, violence, and fear. The two will make war on the battlefield of the body. Whichever wins, humanity will lose again. I haven't done a book review since school, so you're getting a really uninformed opinion right now. Fun for you. I really can't talk about LEECH, though. An excellent read. I highly recommend. Without first addressing the title of this video, which is that GoodReads is a literal hellscape, and honestly, so is the world of Googling book reviews at large. There's really no good place to go. Everywhere seems like an excuse for some know-it-all to get their rocks off. I don't know what I mean by that. Anyway, you can see this is gonna be a great literary dissection. Subscribe to my own, and I will say, I don't really read reviews in preparation for videos like this. I do skim them towards the end of drafting the script, and then I go back and add context of the wider audience's reaction, and I think that's reasonable, you know, to add a wider cultural context, the large societal reaction to a piece, right? That makes sense to me. Hopefully this way I can give you both my honest personal review and a broader cultural context without it having influenced my opinion, so you can make your own decision about whether you want to purchase a piece or engage with it. Holy God! GoodReads makes me question everything I know about reading. I don't really rate the quality of a piece of work based on my personal enjoyment of it alone. I would be lying if I said that that didn't contribute to it, right? It's naive to think that it doesn't influence an opinion I share with other people, but it's nice to exercise a little sympathy maybe for the human experience of others. Maybe try to find what other people dissimilar from yourself might appreciate in a piece. Anyway, there's none of that on GoodReads. People really are out here deigning themselves the arbiter of good taste and potentially ruining careers. I'm not saying that in the case of Hiran Enes, they do not have anything to worry about if this novel is any indication. Hiran Enes. I'm so sorry. I have nothing but respect for this author. I tried really hard to find a defense. This is the author's debut work, and they published it in the midst of going to medical school in the Pacific Northwest. All that schoolwork and seasonal depression? Are you fucking serious? Good for them. Can you imagine? Some people really aim high. We need doctors, so please buy the book. Or wait, don't buy the book? No, buy the book. But also, be a doctor, Hiran. Okay, let's move on. All of that corporeal and psychic torture pays off beautifully in the likes of LEECH. LEECH is your classic gothic horror novel. A newly hired physician isolated in a snowy chateau. Snowy chateau. Only it's a post-apocalyptic future, post-climate disaster, and it's in the throes of a hostile takeover by a parasite hive mind, which has made humanity dependent on its medical knowledge through a selective genocide of doctors and medical personnel. So here's the fucking rub, guys. right? The protagonist is part of the hive mind, and they've been tasked with solving the mysterious death of their predecessor, the previous physician at the chateau that was also part of the hive mind. I keep saying chateau weird, but I can't put my finger on how. Leech is an easy read in that Ennis's prose is gripping, sumptuous, and revolting in the same breath, keeping you turning the page. But it's also a challenging one. There are a lot of moving pieces here. It's a lot to keep up with, small details that Ennis does not hold your hand to notice. You have to internalize these things yourself. The psychic torture that the protagonist goes under in this book is like part of your journey reading it. It does all come together, but while you're reading it, it's a little bit of work to make sure you're not missing out on these things. This isn't like some mindless kind of read you can get through in an afternoon if you really want to digest it. The plot picks up with breakneck speed right at the razor's edge of where some less patient readers might be falling off. I already know that the ending also is going to be contentious. Like, I totally understand why, especially probably amongst more like old school sci-fi fans. That's just instinct, and I'm not basing that off of really any real knowledge of the genre or its history. Sorry that I know I'm garbage. But for me, to me, I said to me, this is a perfectly tragic, ambiguous ending for a gothic mystery novel. And at its heart, that's what Leech does best. It is a gothic mystery. It never leans into the urge to overcomplicate the science or make anything too mythological or too grounded in reality. You can lean too much into confirming whether something is scientific, biological, chemistry, or magic. You know, like, that's kind of the beauty of Leech, is that not only is the distinction blurred, but it also doesn't matter, because the end results are kind of the same for humanity's understanding of them both. See, I'm going off on a freaking tangent. It's gorgeous, gorgeous book. Gorgeous. And it never overemphasizes world building to its detriment. It's never a distraction. Everything contributes to your understanding of the story, even if you don't know why yet. And also, it never takes it easy on us spelling out the characters. I find that characters in traffic, oh my god, I combine words with gothic all the time. I find that characters in, talk about a tragic gothic story, what about this hair in my eye? You know what I mean? Oh, god. I find that I'm gonna probably die. I find that characters in tragic gothics like this one are often deliberately made to ring a little flatter maybe than your standard characters in your standard ensemble. You know what I mean? Almost like the setting is supposed to shadow them, obscure the facets of humanity that might be brought out or emboldened in a more positive setting in a different light. And that's not to say that the characters are at all undercooked. It's just there's a level of enigma surrounding their motivations, their abilities, their desires. Like, all of those things are kind of behind a hazy layer of wheat rock. You have to read the book, guys. The nature of gothic settings is like almost parasitic. In Leech, like many other gothic novels of its type, the setting helps bleed the inhabitants dry, like a parasite. The intersection between bodily autonomy, disability, and imminent climate disaster are all tackled so presciently in this novel, but not in a way that feels overbearing or preachy at all. In fact, if you don't want to engage with any of those themes, I mean, I think you'd have a difficult time, but you won't have a bummer time. Like, this isn't a novel that's gonna remind you that climate change is bearing down on us every second. There are light moments, there's a great humor here, black and lighthearted. Like, it's kind of goofy at parts. It's a very multifaceted ride. And if you love when body horror meets creepy sci-fi, you won't be able to put it down. I highly recommend it for you. But be forewarned, like, when I say body horror, I mean it. Like, Ennis is a med student and in the Pacific Northwest. And that's all I'm gonna say on that. All right, that's all I'm gonna say on that. Oh, if you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe, or whatever, maybe one or the other. If you want to have more of me, you can find all of my links in the description box below, and I will see you next time.